Burning Shores drops you right into the action and never looks back. It's fast paced without too much bloat, and graphically, it's stunning. You pick right up at the end of Horizon Forbidden West, unlike what they did with the Frozen Wilds DLC in the previous game. It was a frustration of mine previously, and I welcome Burning Shores continuing Aloy's adventure. We're met with a familiar face as Silence, played by the late Lance Reddick, who needs Aloy to go over a new journey and obtain some more depth. You're thrust into a dystopian Los Angeles and dropped right into the action, facing off against machines of all kinds. It took me some time getting used to the controls again, and I will admit I had to pause the game and remember the controls. One thing I always stumble with is the timing of DLC from when they finish the main game. When games have a complex combat system, sometimes the muscle memory doesn't come back as quick. I found this way more with the Frozen Wilds DLC, but was able to pick up where I left off quicker in Burning Shores. Except for using the grapple hook, I 100% had to Google how to use that again. We meet our new companion in the game, who is a welcome addition to the franchise and actually helps you in combat. I won't dive any deeper into the story as I don't want to spoil anything. I would recommend you don't just mainline the story because there's a lot of fun surprises to be found in the world. I want to touch on what is new in Burning Shores, as Horizon Forbidden West originally released on both the PS4 and the PS5, and Burning Shores is only on the PS5. That was met with some pushback and probably still isn't sitting best with some players. Now, the game does look visually stunning, but so did Forbidden West, as I would say it had the best NPCs I've ever seen in a video game, and Burning Shores continues that trend. The environments look rich, and the skylines look all too real as you soar through the air on your mount. The graphic modes are offered in Performance, which is 1800p with 60 frames per second, Favor Resolution, which is 2160p with 30 frames per second, and Balance, which is 2160 with 40 frames per second, as long as your TV supports VRR and 120 frames. I played the game on Performance as I needed those extra FPS to keep up with that fast-paced combat. I was surprised not to see any ray tracing support, given it's a PS5 only title, but to be honest, I couldn't tell. The game just looked beautiful. My only gripe graphically would be the sand. They have this wind effect that kind of took me out of the immersion, as the sand going across the beaches, it needs a little bit more polish. It doesn't look the best. The environments look beautiful and the grass looked almost lifelike, and the transitioning from sea to land was seamless. We have new machines to learn how to defeat in Burning Shores, and my favorite has to be the Billy Gut. If I said it wrong, I'm sorry. Or, as I like to call him, Kermit. A frog-like looking machine that goes around eating sting spawns until it notices you and spits acid and jumps around and attacking you. The sting spawns are easy to destroy, but they're little fly-like machines, and honestly, they can become a nuisance if a whole bunch of them swarm and attack you. If you've reached max level when completing Forbidden West, Aloy is pretty powerful when you pick it up in Burning Shores, but you can level her up a little bit past 60 to learn new abilities and pick up some new weapons along the way. One of the new attacks we get to use is a grapple strike. I felt that I hardly got a chance to use it throughout my playthrough. In fact, I didn't use a lot of the new abilities, and I kind of wish they did like a tutorial-like moment to make you use them just to get used to them. They added new accessibility options to the game, and those were a welcome, as always. Sony's first party, I feel, does an exceptional job when it comes to accessibility options in their games. I'm going to really screw this up when I say this, but they've added something called thalassophobia, which is, I didn't even know was a word until I played this game. And it means the fear of drowning. And they have a little option that you can click off to use this, and then Aloy cannot drown in the game. But when you do, it does warn you that this effect could, mess with some missions in the game. I didn't find it did anything. I turned it on, and it was a welcome. They've also added enlarging subtitles, auto pickup, which I used a ton and love. But if you have too much inventory, you still have to press it and it'll go into your stash. Color blindness settings, auto camera, and navigation assist in focus mode. Now, the navigation assist, when you click on focus, will actually show you to your next mission marker. And then the auto camera will allow you so you don't have to actually use both sticks. So wherever you move, the camera moves with you. These features are not just for the DLC and will be available in the main game as well, as it's a new patch that just came out. On my playthrough, I played with a lot of them on. In Burning Shores, we don't just have mounts, but we get a boat to use to get around Los Angeles. And it has some pep in its step. I found myself driving around the waterways like I was straight out of a Miami Vice episode with the wind in my hair. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the trophies, which there are 18 new ones, but no platinum. I can understand why there's no platinum, as it's not a standalone game, but I can see also why trophy hunters would want one. I feel these new trophies are fairly easy to obtain and could be acquired in one playthrough as long as you don't mainline the story. If I could recommend though, I would look up some of these trophies before so you don't miss them on your playthrough. Burning Shows is a welcome addition to the Horizon franchise, but it's just a little bit more of a Horizon. I enjoyed my playthrough and I'm excited about how it ended, and I want to find out what happens. I will say that I did find some of the boss battles to be lacking in the wow factor, especially after my previous first party Sony game that I just finished, which was God of War Ragnarok. I will say the story and environment are where this DLC shines, and it's why it's a must play for anyone who has finished Horizon Forbidden West. As always, here at Three Dads and a Console, we always want to let you know if this is safe to play in front of your kids. And to be honest, my kid's 6, she was watching, and she thought it was kind of cool. You get the female protagonist, and honestly, you're just attacking machines, and it's not that big of a deal. But I'm going to leave that up to you whether you let your kid watch you play this. Would I say recommend letting your kid play? I think it's more for the older crowd, especially with the mechanics that you've got to learn to play this game.